Hi, folks. Hope you're all having a nice day. It's kind of yucky outside, but we're going to start ecology nonetheless, and it is all about our ecosystems in the world around us. So, pretty basic start here. All right, so first we need to talk about the difference between biotic and abiotic. Biotic, bio, means alive, so living things, and abiotic means not living factors. So these both have a lot to do with an ecosystem and what survives there. So biotic factors in an ecosystem could be plants, could be animals, anything alive. Abiotic things could be anything not alive. So the amount of rainfall, the temperature, the amount of sunlight, dead things. Those are all abiotic factors that both play a role in an ecosystem. We have levels of organization in each ecosystem. The smallest is the individual or organism. This is the smallest level for ecologists. And then we go from there, we go to the species. Okay, a species is a group of very similar organisms that are able to breed and produce fertile offspring. So remember that. So the first time now, we're starting to look at things at the biggest level. We worked all the way down to the smallest, from cells to macromolecules, for elements, subatomic particles. Now we're starting to look at the world at the big picture. This is where we end our year with ecology, looking at things from the individual up. Okay, so things are going to start to get a lot bigger in biology. Next, we go to population. So groups of individuals belong to the same species and live in the same area. So for example, all of the students going to school at the same time, all the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th graders at SSVT make up a population. Or you could say all the geese that live behind the school are a population. The community. The community is a grouping of all the different populations that live in the same area. So all of those that it will interact with each other. Example, all the living organisms at Jacob's Pond, algae, deer, fish, protists, bacteria. Think of these things as all living, by the way. So if you look at behind the school and you think about what lives behind the school, go back to our geese. So the geese interact with the grass. Both are living, okay, because they eat the grass. What else is back there? Well, you have some trees back there. The trees provide shelter for some of those organisms. We also have deer back there. You have bugs back there, insects. So all of those things that interact with one another, whether they're good or bad, are called the community. Ecosystem, that's the next level up. This is a collection of all organisms that live in a particular place, and they go along with the non-living members of the environment. So for the first time, we're talking about the living and the non-living and how they interact. So for example, if you're talking about a lake, the water plays an important role in this ecosystem. Water is not alive, but it is an important part of that ecosystem. Chemicals, okay, such as dissolved oxygen in the water, that plays an important role for organisms that live there. Next, working our way up, we have a biome. A biome is a grouping of the similar ecosystems. They have the same climate, they have the same types of communities that live there. So, for example, the rainforest is a biome. They have kind of the same weather patterns. It's very rainy, it's very humid, it's sort of hot. Okay. Or on the opposite end of that, you have the desert. The desert is a very dry biome, very little rainfall. Okay. Biosphere, this is the largest level. This is kind of like the Earth. All right, the largest and most inclusive of nature's houses, contains all portions of the planet in which life exists. It includes non-living, land, water, air. It is the highest level that ecologists study. It extends from 8 kilometers above the Earth's surface to 11 kilometers below the surface of the ocean. So here you go. In a review, here's all the levels, starting with the biggest biome, or sorry, biosphere. That includes all the others. Then there's the biomes, then ecosystems, then community, population, and individual. Individual being the smallest. Note that 4 to 6 make up living organisms, whereas you can have some non-living in 1, 2, and 3. Populations do not interact with each other in isolation, but they will compete for resources. So you have interspecific competition. This would be competition between species. It takes place when two or more species rely on the same limited resource. And you also have competitive exclusion, where one species succeeds over another when the growth of the species is limited by the same resource. So, example, comparing two species of paramecium, when you put them together, one will do better than the other. When you put them in separate containers, because they have two separate environments, they both will do well on their own. A niche, well, that's a unique living arrangement that includes the organism's living place, its food sources, its time of day it's most active, and other factors due to the organism's way of life. So every creature has its own niche. A local loss of species due to competitive exclusion may occur if two species have niches that are very similar. However, competition over resources doesn't mean they have the same niche. So a lizard in a tropical forest feeds on insects and low shrubs, while similar lizard may eat insects high in trees. So they have two different niches. I'm going to save some of these relationships for tomorrow. So I think that's all I want to talk about today. Have a nice day.